Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Encrypted Connections. I am your host, Old Sugarmouth, formerly known as Kyle. We're going with Old Sugarmouth from now on. So, from now on, that is how you address me. Otherwise, we'll have problems, right? We'll have some problems. Anyway, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday night, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Mine wasn't too bad. Wasn't crazy eventful. It was another nice, beautiful day here. I can't say it enough. This is my favorite time of year. This is the best. Like it's cool, it's crisp, the air is just refreshing. The smell of the leaves dying, like I just love it. I can't get enough of it. Um, so my mood generally gets a little better now. The summer, I'm a miserable prick. just the way it is. Uh, anyway, let's say hello to some of the folks in the chat as usual. Let's see. I saw Lady Wolf. Hello, Lady Wolf. How are you? Um, Henry, what's going on, man? I hope you're feeling better, brother. Felicia, welcome, welcome. Val, hello. High hope. She's got high hopes. What's up, Rye? How you doing, man? Hello, Chewy. Always have to say hello to Chewy. We know who the star of the show is. What's up, Long Island? Mikey, what's going on, brother? Lockbeard, what's up, man? That's a great name. Love that name. Lockbeard. Sounds tough. Sounds real tough. Anyway, let's get this party underway. Let me bring on my esteemed colleague and co-host. You might know him as Dewey Edwards. I know him as Dale Earnhardt Jr. impersonator number one. What's going on, Dew?
I don't know, Sugar Mouth. How's it going?
It's going good, brother. It's going good. Happy to have you here, man. So, real quick before we start the show, I wanted to make a quick announcement.
Is anybody else getting feedback out there, or is it just me?
Oh, are you? Are you getting feedback? Can you hear it now?
I don't hear it now.
No? Any better?
That's good.
Okay. Might have been because I had my phone on the channel. I did have the volume down, but sometimes it gets interference like that. So tomorrow, I am doing a very special show. It will be at 3 p.m. Eastern time, which I know is early for most people. There's a reason for that. My guest tomorrow. Are you still getting feedback, Dewey? Can you hear me, Dew?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what was going on. I'm hearing the conversation twice.
You're getting an echo.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I've got a heck of an echo.
I wonder why that is. Do you have YouTube and StreamYard open?
That's very possible. Let me see here.
Oh, now we lost him. Well, he'll be back. He'll be back. Sometimes that happens, and I can't figure out why for the life of me. I just, and that's the worst. Hearing that echo is just so it distracts the hell out of you. Hopefully, he gets that figured out. So anyway, tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time, I'm doing a very special show. There's a reason I'm doing this show at 3 p.m. My guest tomorrow is a 14-year-old young man from the UK. His name is Daniel Lee. This young man is the future of this community. He is an exceptional young man. I had the privilege of speaking with him over the last couple days. I was pointed in his direction. I was pointed in his direction and introduced to him by our friend Mike Ann from Tactical Bigfoot Research. Um, so he's like I said, he's 14 years old. He's from the UK. He has autism. He got interested in this subject by watching Expedition Bigfoot, which we won't. I won't divulge my personal opinions on that. But anyway, um, if it got him interested in the subject, then that these TV shows may not be the greatest as far as credibility goes, but they do bring people into the subject, and that's a good thing. And it brought him in. What I can tell you is this young man is exceptional in so many ways. He is going to be a a pillar of this community. I promise you that. He will be a pillar of this community in the future. He already, at 14 years old, already has been able to accomplish some things that people who've been doing this for 30 years haven't. I'm not going to say any more because I'm going to let him tell it tomorrow on the show. But what he has to share tomorrow is very, very exciting news in this community. So I want as many of you, if you can show up. I know it's early. I know a lot of people will still be working, but he's 5 hours ahead. I didn't want to have him going until midnight. I talked to his dad today. His parents are just wonderful folks. Listen, for parents to take a kid and who says, I watched a show on this Bigfoot thing and, he never had an idea about it before, but now he wants to know what the possibility of it being real is. Uh, and they answer, I don't know what the possibility is. And he says, well, let's go find out. And his parents' answer was, okay, let's do it. What do we have to do? And he, for anybody, for any parent to nurture that passion, is so amazing. Um, he, you know, when you nurture that in any child, it can only do great things for them. It teaches them to chase their dreams, not to give up on things, right? And you'll see tomorrow this kid, he's something special. He really is. At 14 years old, and I get jacked up knowing that there are young men and women out there who have a passion for this subject, because without them, this thing dies. If there's no next generation, and we all know with the way the world is and kids with their heads stuck in their phones and not going outside as much, it's possible that this dies with one of our generations, just because people aren't doing things the way that they used to. So it makes me really happy to know that there are young men and women out there who are very interested in this. So tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, if you can, please tune in then. If you can't, I suggest you watch it back later on. You will not be disappointed. I promise. I'm telling you, the news that he has to share, you're all going to go, oh boy, yeah. You should be intrigued. Yep, you should be, Ryan. Welcome, by the way. So, Dewey, how you doing, man? I can't hear you now. Nope, I can't hear you now. And I got this weird, like almost fuzziness in my headphones where I didn't have that before. No, nothing, brother. Wait, say something? Nothing. What's going on here? What's going on? Reduce mic. Say something.
Now, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You got an echo still?
Oh no, it sounds good.
Okay, good. All right.
All right, Dan.
All right, Dan. So how you doing?
I am doing great. I'm doing great.
You just got back from a fun trip, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We went down to the Tennessee Wildman Encrypted Conference in Burns, Tennessee, at the Montgomery Bell State Park. Lost my train of thought for a minute. We had a good time. Joe and Jesse were there. Martin Groves was there. Barton and Letitia was there, and met a lot of old friends, a lot of new friends. Ron Moorhead was there.
Oh, nice.
And got to meet and talk to him for a while. And it was just a real good. I'm probably leaving somebody out. It was good. It was a good conference. It was good. I didn't get to sit in on too much. I talked, but I didn't talk to him. He actually let me set a table up on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
There wasn't that many vendors there, and once you stroll through about an hour, you've seen everything that was there as far as the vendors.
Yeah.
And I talked to a lot of them. A lot of them do podcasts, and I got recruited for several podcasts while I was there too.
Nice.
And they a couple of them scheduled me for some of them. Anyway, I thought, well, what am I going to do for Sunday? I've already seen everything that's here, and you see, aside from going in and listening to the speakers, what am I going to do? And I went and asked him if I could, what it cost me to set up a table. He says, go for it. Don't worry about it. Just go for it. So he fixed me up with a table Sunday morning, and I sold several books, and
nice.
Mostly, I think I sold maybe one Bell Witch book, and I think one Eye in the Sky book, and the rest of them were all my Season of the Critters book, and it was going like hotcakes there for a while. I think I got down to like 3 left, and I have a book signing coming up in a couple of weeks, so I had to jump in and order some more, and I hope they'll be here by then. I don't know if it will or not, but I had to order some more of those. But
that's a great book.
It was a good turnout. We all sat out there Friday night, and I just sat around and just talked. Everybody just got in a big circle out in front of the lodge, and we just had a good time, laughing, talking, and just a good time. Good fellowship.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I wish they had more of those things around here. It's a bummer that there's not many. Whitehall is probably the closest one, which is still, oh gosh, how many hours is Whitehall for me? Like probably 4.5, I would think, something like that. And that's the very closest one. The rest are just so far away. It's really a bummer. They used to do a New England cryptid conference or something. I forget the actual name of it. They used to do one, and then for whatever reason they stopped doing it. I wish they would bring something like that back because this area has its own collection of stories and folklore and fans of this stuff, but we don't get any of that up here. It stinks.
Yeah, we're going to Crossville, Tennessee, Saturday. It's just a one day. I think it's the Upper Cumberland Bigfoot Festival.
Oh, nice.
And we're gonna drive down. Cookville's not maybe a couple hours from us, if that far. So we're gonna get up early Saturday morning, drive down, and when it's over, drive back. So it's not that bad.
Oh, that's well. How far is it?
Crossville, Tennessee. It's the other side of Cookville. It's over in East Tennessee.
How long is the ride? Did you say?
About 2 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. They're having one in Lexington in November. But I haven't talked to Stitch Witch and what's doing that one yet or not. She is my chauffeur, but she drives me everywhere.
Really?
And she hates interstate. If she could go all back roads, yeah, she'd be there in a heartbeat, but she don't like driving interstates.
Well, I can't say I blame her there. The interstates can be pretty hairy at times. Um, she drives though, huh? You don't
Oh
drive.
yeah, she drives. It was funny. We went to LBL last year. I had forgot about it till Joe mentioned it. Uh, we pulled up. Of course, Dee was driving. Joe and Jesse pulled up. Jesse was driving. Then Barton and Letitia drove up. Letitia was driving. And then here come Marty by himself. All the wives were driving us around. So,
Oh man. Wow, I would have thought Dale Earnhardt himself would be the one behind the wheel, but guess you learn something new every day.
I guess you have one wreck, you quit driving, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, she's always driven everywhere. So
Oh,
she don't trust anybody else's driving.
every relationship has that person,
Oh yeah.
right? Every relationship does. I usually nominate myself to be that person. Like I prefer to be behind the wheel. I hate driving. Like I'm not a fan of driving, but if there's, uh if there's two of us in the car or three of us in the car and I have the option, I want to be the one
There you go.
navigating. It just makes me feel better. Oh, come on. I dropped my
I
damn.
get some good naps in while she's driving.
Oh, I bet you do. I'm sure she's thrilled about it too. Damn it.
We went to my aunt's house in Inman, South Carolina, several years ago, and it was in the springtime, and that pollen was so bad. We had a white car, and the next morning the car was about a half-inch deep with pollen, yellow pollen on it. She got sick. She got so sick she couldn't drive. And she sat over there with her head down the whole. And I drove all the way from there through the mountains and all. And that's when they had the detour where this rock slide had blocked off part of the road. Had to take the long detour around. And
Oh boy.
I drove every bit of the way back. And because I was sick if I rode while you were driving.
Ay, ay, ay. Who's speaking at that? Did you watch anybody speak?
I watched Joe and Jesse, and I was going to watch some of Ron Moorhead, and the seats on those they had in there were so hard they hurt my back.
Mm.
And when Ron was speaking, there was standing room only,
Oh, I bet.
and my right knee got to give me some trouble. So I just went in and just kind of walked around and got it. By the time I got through, got my leg feeling pretty good. He'd already quit. So I caught little bits and pieces here and there, but
Ron's such an
I was more or
interesting
less tied
guy.
up Sunday with my books. So that's why I didn't really want to carry any books with me to do that with, because I kind of want to walk around and look. But like you said, in about an hour, you've seen it all. And
Yeah. And if you can make a few bucks, why not?
oh yeah, did pretty good.
Always helps for those frozen pizzas you like so much.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What are they? Tombstones?
Tombstone. Well, Red Baron.
That's the one,
I
Red
prefer
Baron.
Red Baron over any of them.
Yeah, I actually, and I'm a pizza snob, by the way. I am a pizza snob because I live in the pizza capital of the world. For anybody who doesn't know, and for you jamokes out there from New York and New Jersey, you can just take that idea and stick it, because New Haven, Connecticut is the pizza capital of the world, period. So in New Haven, Connecticut, we have an area up there that was predominantly settled by Italian immigrants, right? And it remained predominantly Italian for a very long time. I think it's pretty mixed now, but it's such a cool place. And when they came here, there was a few families who started their pizza places up there on the same street, like literally across the street from each other, and they were competing. And they've started back then, and they've been competing forever until now. Generations and generations on, and they continuously every year, Pepe's, Sally's, and Modern are the three on that road that every single year they make, like the Travel Channel and the Food Network and like the top they're in the top 5 pizza places in the country. Pepe's and Sally's usually are in the top 3, and I know Pepe's has won it number 1 multiple times. Pepe's is my favorite pizza ever. It's they don't call it pizza, they call it Abitz. Abitz. Apizza. Abitz.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pizza. I mean, it's just pizza, but that's just the way it was the slang term that they used from with the part of Italy that they were from. It's Napolitano pizza. It's made in um a, a coal-fired oven, but it's not coal. They call it something else. I forget what they call it. These pieces of wood that are kind of charred um and they cook the pizza at like 825 degrees, and it gives the crust this like charred, like on the outside. People call it burnt. We call it char. But it's burnt essentially. But because of the flavor of the wood and the way that they make the crust, the char is like one of the best parts on the pizza. It's just got
Well,
this deep flavor to it, and then they use the best. They don't skimp on anything. We're talking about the best tomatoes to make the sauce from San Marzano, Italy. We're talking about fresh olive oil that was homemade and pressed. We're talking about the high fat content mozzarella cheese, and I mean, this pizza is out of this world good. It really is.
hmm.
What the hell got me started on pizza?
I don't know. I don't know.
How the hell did I go there? I don't even remember.
You asked me about the frozen pizza, and
Oh, that's how I said
I
about the
went down
frozen
that
pizza.
rabbit hole.
So anyway, I'm a pizza snob, right? I love real good pizza. Pepe's is my favorite. Modern is my second favorite, and then I found a place a town away just recently that makes pizza that way, and they're phenomenal. They're called Vincitori's. They're right up there. But anyway, frozen pizza's hard for me because usually they taste frozen, like they taste like they've been frozen.
You have to cook them first.
Well, oh damn it, that's what's wrong, son of a
You've
bitch.
been eating pizza popsicles.
Somebody should have told me this. Um, so damn it, I walked right into that one.
You walked into that one.
I sure did. Yeah. So, but they have like they have a taste to them, sometimes it's not fresh pizza. So, but I'll tell you, I do enjoy Red Baron's 4-cheese pizza. It's pretty darn good as far as frozen pizza goes. Detroit Motor City deep dish pizza. It's frozen. That's really good pizza also. Really good pizza. If you can find that anywhere, that's it. That tastes like it. That tastes like a fresh pizza when it comes out of the oven. Like it tastes like it was just made like right there. No, I'm not sponsored by a pizza place, but I should be. Anyone who's been watching my channel since the beginning will tell you flat out that I'm a pizza. I love pizza. It's my favorite thing, and I am a pizza aficionado. Being that I live in the pizza capital of the world, I know what I'm talking about,
There
and
you
you
go.
don't. So, Pepe's needs to sponsor me for sure. Yeah, they
There
do.
you go.
They need to reach out. I used to have I go on my outings on the weekends, right? And on the way home, I would pass by Mohegan Sun Casino, and there's a Pepe's in Mohegan Sun because you could buy a franchise and put it places after a while they allowed people to do that. Now, in order to do that, you have to literally build the oven exactly like the oven in the original Pepe's, like same dimensions, same materials, everything. They will not allow anything other than that, because they want to keep it as close to the real thing. What you don't get though, and people don't understand, is after 100 years of cooking in an oven like that, the oven is seasoned itself, right? It
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of sits in the stone, and so you get flavor just cooking in that oven. Uh, but yeah, I used to stop at Mohegan Sun on the way home and get Pepe's, and I'd say it's Pizza Saturday, everybody, and they'd all know that I was stopping at Pepe's on the way home to get a pie. They need to sponsor me, damn it. I mean, if you guys lived in Connecticut right now, you'd be eating Pepe's pizza. I promise you. Anybody who's been watching for a while, anyway. But how do we get? I got a way off track on this craziness. Country boy, what's up? I was just talking about you today, man. I I have not gotten a single notification from your channel, and I can't even tell you how long. And I checked today. I'm still subscribed, but I don't know what the hell's going on with that. I'm glad to see you here, though, man. Um. Anyway, enough of the pizza stuff. Apologies. This is supposed to be a cryptid channel. Uh. So,
Cryptid pizza,
cryptid pizza. Yeah, that's right.
the whole new chain, you know it?
We could do that. We could make the pizza in the shape of a Bigfoot footprint,
Hey,
right? I mean, it might be onto something. Who knows? We could have crazy flavors like, what's that? Like goat man. Who the hell? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I did take a whole pack of I think they were peanut butter cookies,
Ooh,
and I thawed them out and put them in the shape of a Bigfoot footprint
oh,
and baked it that way. You know, it
oh.
still tasted like peanut butter. You know, it still
Well, I'm
it
glad it
looked
didn't taste
good.
like a Bigfoot.
It looked good.
I'm glad it didn't taste like a Bigfoot, at least not how they supposedly smell. Good Lord. I don't know anyone would want cookies that taste like that.
It didn't taste like chicken.
Yeah, everything tastes like chicken. Anyway, so this weekend, I am heading up. I'm so excited about this. I am heading out Friday morning. Driving up to New Hampshire to Alexander Petakov's house. Um, and then I am hopping out of my basically my rolling womb. It is basically all my car is. I'm hopping out of that, and I'm hopping into Alex's vehicle. We are heading up another 3 hours north of him. Uh, about 3-4 hours, something like that. And we are going to Coos County, New Hampshire, home of the Wood Devils. We were given access to a really large portion of land, private land, and 7 of us are going up there for this like 3-night expedition, basically. So um, I'm really excited about this.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, yeah. And the Wood Devils, you know, obviously it's supposed to be kind of um their version of Sasquatch, but there's some things that are a little different about them. They tend to supposedly to have a very slender appearance. They're gray in color, which well, obviously I've heard Bigfoots can be gray, but the slender appearance, what people draw them, um, looks different than most Sasquatch drawings or descriptions I've seen. But yeah, everything else kind of lines up with that stuff. They're very elusive. They'll hide behind trees and remain completely still. Um, and when people see them and they know that they see them, they let out these blood curdling screams. Um, and this area up there is literally where this legend started, or in Coos County, and the properties that we're going to have had recent activity, and yeah, so that should be really fun. We're planning on doing some really cool stuff too. Alex is and Mike Ann's going from Tactical Bigfoot Research, which is just a thrill. Like to be able to go out with that guy and Alex and Mike Lucci. You guys all know Mike Lucci. Obviously, he's been on the channel a couple times, and to be able to go out with them guys. Brian and Chewy are going. And then 2 other guys, friends of Alex that I've never met yet, Ryan and Evan. But these guys are like, these guys, they know what they're doing. Mike is a cop, right? He is a seasoned investigator. Um, Joe actually was like one of the first people to tell me about Mike and say, like, this guy this guy knows what the hell he's doing, what he's talking about, and his research techniques are just awesome. And then Alex, who is like the figurehead of Small Town Monsters documentaries, on the trail. He's been doing this for so many years, and it's amazing to me that he's as young as he is. Like the things that he's accomplished in this field so far. Brian is like the hiking extraordinaire. This guy hikes every mountain peak on the damn near the East Coast. Swear to God, like every summer he does. Yeah, it's crazy some of the shit that this guy does. And he brings his dog Chewy with him to every one of them, which I think is so cool. And then Mike Lucci, who's just has a brain for this stuff that is absolutely incredible. The way that this kid thinks is just, it's nuts. So I am very excited to go up there with them and to investigate this area. Everyone's got a thermal. Everyone's going to have night vision. There are 2 drones, I believe, that will be used. We're planning on doing some traps with like fishing line and cans on the perimeter to alert us to anything coming in. Motion censored lights too. Like we're going to try a lot of different things. There's logging going on up there like there is in any of these places. I think there's logging going on like close by or nearby or whatever. And when there's logging going on, a lot of times it stirs up activity because these things are pissed. They're like, you're messing up my home. So we're going to spend some time, try to get near that logging area and see if anything happens there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. I'm just, I haven't done an overnight yet. Never. So I've never even been, not an overnight. I've never done a night investigation for Bigfoot. Never.
Wow.
So this is a big first. Hey, Pat, how are you? Good to see you. Mav? Yeah, Maverick's good. Yeah, he's good. I don't see him much. That's another story. I miss him. I miss him a lot. Gosh, you're gonna get me emotional. Anyway, oof, that happens so fast when I talk about them. Good Lord.
Oh, tell me about it.
Oh gosh. Anyway, yeah, I'll be a kid in a candy shop. That's for sure, or a kid in a pizza shop. I'm not much of a candy guy, but we know I like pizza. Pizza and ice cream. If you give me one of those things, like you've pretty much won my heart over.
What about cookies? You like cookies?
Depends on the cookie.
You ever tried a Hellbender cookie?
A Hellbender cookie?
Yeah.
No.
I made some for last weekend and took them down to the conference, and they were a pretty good hit.
Hellbender cookies.
Yeah. I'm gonna give my recipe away if y'all want to write it down. There's no bacon involved or anything in it. You do have to heat up the almond bark in the microwave. Take Ritz crackers, Skippy peanut butter, and make peanut butter and crackers. And then you while you're putting them together, you put the chocolate and almond bark in the microwave and let it melt. And then when you get them all put together, you dip them in the chocolate and coat them real good with the chocolate and put them out on wax paper and let them dry. And we'll let them harden up some, and they're good to go.
That sounds spectacular,
They're
actually.
delicious.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm a sucker for like sweet and salty together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? I think that's like the greatest thing ever. So if you get some Ritz crackers, that little buttery, salty, flavor, some peanut butter and chocolate sounds just spectacular.
I tried some off-brand peanut butter one time, and it just didn't.
No, you can't. It doesn't
It
hit the
wasn't
same.
It's got to
No.
be either Skippy or Jip, one or the other. So
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same. I don't know what they do to it, but it's not the same. My husband likes pizza and Reese's peanut butter cups. You know, I had a pizza at the Big E, which is a giant fair out here. I had a pizza at the Big E years ago uh, that had, well, I didn't eat it, but like people were eating it there. um, it was peanut butter and bacon on a pizza, and they were raving about how good it was. And I couldn't bring myself to do it. I ate the bacon part, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I'm like, that doesn't belong on a pizza. I had this argument with Hope about pizza too. She was like putting pork and whatever else on a pizza, and I'm like, that's not a pizza. You put certain things on, you put some onions or some peppers on a pizza, some mushrooms, pepperoni, sausage. I'll accept that. Bacon. That's about as far as it goes. Yeah, anything else is just uncivilized. You can't do that.
I
It's
used to work with a guy. He would come in and he'd bring a big old onion in with him, and a half a loaf of bread and a peanut butter. He'd make a peanut butter sandwich and then slice an onion and put a big old slice of onion in that peanut butter and eat it. Then he would eat the rest of the onion like an apple, and I
oh
tried my
my
best to stay away from him the rest of the night.
god. I
I
like
let him
onion,
work
but
by
that
himself.
yeah, I like onion, but that would kill me. I'd have the worst heartburn in the world after that. Nutella on cheese pizza, Alex says. You'll thank me later. I probably won't. I'll be honest with you, I probably won't. I'll probably be cursing you out. You don't mess with my pizza. It's if a pizza's good, this is how you know a pizza's good. No toppings on it, and you love it. That's when you know you got a real good pizza. Just cheese, and it does everything it needs to do. That's when you know you've got a winner. Plantains. That's what I'm talking about. This is this is heresy. Plantains on pizza with pork shoulder. No, no. Bananas from South America don't belong on pizza. Period. They don't. This is turned into a food show. This is a
Into a
Food
cooking
Network now.
show.
This is a cooking show now. It's ridiculous. Um, and you hope Brown Dwarf says plantains yum. Hold the pork. If I yeah, sacrilege. Thank you. If I had to go one way, if I was forced, if somebody was like, like you have to make a choice or we're gonna like kill your family, I'm not going plantains on the pizza. I'll go with the pork because at least it's meat. You know, I mean that's bananas on a pizza. Get the hell out of here.
I like pineapples on pizza.
Um, yeah, okay, so like I, boy, weirdly, I don't think that's an awful thing. Um, Pineapple and bacon on a pizza, it can be very good. If the pineapple's fresh and the bacon's crispy, then it can be very good because you do have that sweet and salty thing together.
Right, right.
That can be really good. Uh, I, as a pizza like aficionado, um, I shouldn't be saying that though. I shouldn't be, but it unfortunately it is really good. They make some good fried plantains in Chicago. Are we going to start trading recipes now? Yeah, yeah. We're going to, we are, Ron. That's right. We're going to start trading recipes. Um, Lockbeard says, I can't do pizza no more. Messed up my diabetes. I know what that's from. Wilford Brimley. I'm Wilford. I have diabetes. Oh, that's great. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of your diabetes. But being 100% fully carnivore makes it go completely away. Oh, that's amazing. So I invented a carnivore ingredients only pizza. The crust is grilled mozzarella cheese. Wow, that's awesome. I actually heard Rogan talk about that um, carnivore diet, about how much how many wonders it did for him. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you got rid of it. Camberfoot, I had a pizza accidentally delivered to my house once. Um, it was just cheese with onion. I ate it because they gave it to me for free, and now that's all I will eat. Onion pizza is not bad. Onion pizza is not bad. Anyway, let's we are all about food right now, and this is supposed to be a channel about cryptids and weird stuff.
Cryptid pizzas.
Yeah, there you go. Cryptid pizza, Nutella and cheese. That's a cryptid pizza.
It is cryptid for sure.
Plantains and pork shoulder. That's a cryptid pizza. I don't know what cryptid it would be, but it's weird. We'll call the Nutella and cheese pizza the hairy man pizza, and the other one can be the goat man pizza. Actually, it's got pork. We'll call it the pig boy pizza
There you go, big
because
boy.
he's a cryptid, isn't he? The pig boy. Um. Oh crap! Sorry. Um. So, being in the spirit of Halloween, right? One of the I have to plug this in because it's gonna die. I'm so not. I'm so unprofessional tonight. This is what happens when I'm on the road doing a show. I say on the road like I'm, some big superstar traveling the globe. Um, I'm had I'm at my brother's house, dog sitting,
Oh.
and it's one of those things when you're not at home, it gets you out of sorts. You forget things and misplace things, and normally I'd have all this stuff lined up already on the desk and all that, and I don't. Now I got things that are ready to die on me. Anyway, Spirit of Halloween. Has anybody out there ever heard of the Smurl haunting? Anybody in the chat? You guys ever heard of the Smurl haunting?
Mm-mm.
So the Smurl haunting happened. Oh crud! I'm not gonna have any place to put this, am I? Son of a. I am not. I forgot my splitter. See? God darn it. Gosh darn it all to hell. Well, I guess that's out of the question. Anyway, so the Smurl haunting. This was a supposed demonic possession that happened back in. Let me look up the date because I forget the dates. Um, it happened in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, and it was 1974. So the family, what happened was, there was mom and dad, and they had a few kids, and their house. Yes, the case of the haunted was based on. Yes, exactly. Um, so their house they were living in was like washed away in a flood or something. So they didn't know what they were going to do, and then the father, I think his name was Jack, if I remember correctly. Jack. Yeah. Uh, Jack and Janet Smurl, and their four young daughters. Jack's parents offered to buy them a two-family house. It was a kind of a fixer-upper, and they said, we'll live in one side, you guys live in the other. This way, you have a home, and we're close by. We get to take care of each other and watch each other's backs. And all of that seemed like a really great thing at the time, right? It's like, okay, now we have a home. We're right next to our parents or in-laws or whatever. And how much better could it be? Very quickly, they started to wonder if this was less of a blessing and more of a curse. Weird things started happening around the house. Appliances that were unplugged would catch fire. Um, Things would move that, shouldn't be moving. Um, you put a lot of your typical demonic possession type stuff. And I guess the first sign of activity occurred. The family was awakened by bizarre banging on the walls and ceilings. But the house was old, so most people would go, "All right, it's just the house settling, or the pipes banging, or something like that." Or, it's those damn kids again. Damn kids, go to bed. Uh, Steven says a succubus actually attacked the father. Oh, okay, I didn't know that part. Um, Let me see. I think people are chiming in saying that they know what this is. Um, Ron wanted to start talking about cryptids. Wilkes-Barre, no. Well, it might be close to Wilkes-Barre. Pittston, Pennsylvania. Um, We're involved. We're trying to, yeah, the Warrens. Yep, the Warrens were involved. Yep, yes. Hey, Matt, what's up, man? Welcome. Was it an old mortuary? That I don't remember. Um, but we'll talk about it here. Let's talk about it. So that was the first sign of anything was banging and all that stuff. But they just wrote it off because the house is old. Uh, and it was in kind of bad shape. Then after months go by, there was foul smells that started to emerge with no reasonable explanation, as all the plumbing was deemed functional. Um, Terror fully manifested one evening in the family living room when the Smurl's dog, a German Shepherd mix, was picked up by an unseen force and thrown violently against the wall in full view of the entire family. Like, when I hear these things, you, if you ever follow, if you don't follow like Father Adam Bly, or any of these like real renowned exorcists, like the guys who have done thousands of these things, um, and you hear what they have to say, uh, they'll tell you like some of the things that have happened during these exorcisms are literally physically things that can't happen, right? Like I've heard them seeing people vomit metal objects during an exorcism, like pieces of metal. Like how is that even a thing? Um, but I guess this is what these demons do is they just do as much damage as they can. From what I know, and I could be wrong, but from what I've read, I believe that they don't have the ability to kill you. Um, According to the Bible, uh, Jesus did not give the devil um, the power to kill anybody. He can, but they can mess with you to the point that you do it to yourself, which happens to people in these circumstances where they've had enough and they take their own lives, which is really scary. Um, yeah, that was the other yeah, that was the mortuary was a haunting in Connecticut. Yeah, it was. You're right. Yep. Um, uh, Steven says the church wouldn't help at first until the Warrens got involved. Yeah, I've had an argument before about the Warrens where people say like, "Oh, they were phonies. They were phonies." They weren't phonies. They did TV, um, but they weren't phonies. They what they were doing was real, and they helped a lot of people. Um, even if it was to get things like the church involved, they helped a lot of people. That the Amityville case obviously comes to mind. Obviously you have the Haunting in Connecticut and the Conjuring House and all these really famous ones, but they were the real deal. um, they were passionate about what they did, and when people were in a predicament, you know who could you call at that time? Wasn't like this was a giant community then. You probably had them and nobody else, except for, somebody from your local church, and that was if the church gave them the okay to even go in and perform any kind of exorcism or whatever. But they were the real deal. Um, I have a lot of respect for them because in the time that they were doing what they were doing, this wasn't as accepted. It was, this was all very taboo stuff back then. So good on them. Camberfoot says, "Evil demon or not, if it picks my dog and throws it against the living room, I'm taking it down." Yeah, amen to
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. You're right. I wouldn't give a shit in the moment. I'd call it out. I'd say, "Bring it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're going head to head." You know, you know what that makes me think of? Has anyone ever seen the video of the cop from Louisiana? I think it's a couple years old now. He gets on. It was on a news broadcast, and he's got all the cops from the local parish behind him, and then like town leaders and like leaders from the black community. They're all lined up behind him, and he's standing there with this tactical shotgun and his vest, and he starts calling out this local gang. He's like, "To the gremlins, if you think that me or any of these men are scared of a 125-pound punk who hold a gun sideways, man, we do curls and bench presses with dumbbells bigger than you." And then he goes off on this whole spiel where he's like, "We will meet your force with unrivaled supreme force." I mean, it was like this jacked up, like got you all jacked up, like, "Yeah, go get him, go get him." That's the speech that like I give the demon in that moment. "You mess with my dog, and then I will meet your force with supreme force." You gotta, if you've never seen that, you gotta watch that video. It's amazing. Uh, what's embarrassing, Sharon? Was that video? I thought that was great. Oh, Ron, listen, Ron. Uh, First, Ron, welcome. We are very happy to have you here. Like I always say, I'm always grateful whenever anyone comes and gives any support to this channel. Do not feed into that hellbent holler. Joe's head's big enough right now. We don't need to continue stroking that ego, right? Our job here is to bring him back down. We need to bring Joe back down, you know, a little bit of humility. His celebrity has risen, and with that, his ego has grown. So don't stroke it. Let's bring him down a little bit. Telling him that you're a big fan of Hellbent and it's cool they're in the chat tonight is just going to make this harder for everybody.
Joe does a great job.
Joe does a great job. It's a running joke, Ron. It's a running joke. We love Joe and Jesse. They're
Oh yeah.
great.
Oh yeah.
They're family here, man. We love them. There really isn't there isn't in my eyes a better couple people out there doing better work in the field. They just do amazing stuff. Oh, thank you, Ron. Watch, my head's gonna blow up now, boy. He's a bigger fan of my show. You hear that, Joe? You hear that? Oh God, I'm just kidding. So anyway, back to the story. We're all over the place tonight. I'm sorry. My ADD has just gotten the best of me. So anyway, this German Shepherd gets tossed against the wall. Months and months go by, and the terror grew. They were rebuffed by the Catholic Church, like people were saying in the chat, as claims were not taken seriously by the clergy, who demanded more proof than they could provide. Things worsened as Jack's mother suffered a devastating heart attack at home, while the appearance of what could only be described as of black masses floated throughout the home, accompanying them sudden room freezing temperatures. That those dark shadows, man. if you've ever been on a paranormal investigation, you see the shadow people, and they're darker than the dark around them. It's like this just black. It's the blackest black, man. You could be in a pitch black room, and you could see that there's this thing that's darker than everything around it. Um, to me, that always just it always felt bad. Like it just didn't sit right with me. There was something wrong with those things. um, Joe gets a world's greatest grandma trophy. Oh God. So
I've seen several shadows here in my house, you know.
have you
But I don't take it as a threat. I mean, they seem like they're, you know,
now?
not here to harm me, you know.
Now you see shadows, but are they like these weird, like
Well,
ultra
they're
black?
not the ultra real dark ones. They just you see a faint image, you know, of like
Okay.
something, you know, go like from the living room into the bedroom or something like that, just through the doorway, you know. It's
Yeah,
uh,
see, I think these things that they're talking about are like this dark, dark,
you're right.
in a pitch black room, you could see this thing still. Like it's darker
Wow.
than the dark around it. And when we went to Norwich State Hospital years ago, I was uh, gosh, in my early 20s then. God, those were the times. Um, we went to Norwich State Hospital, which is now known as one of the most haunted places in the United States. Um, we saw at the end of a hall, which was very dark, by the way, like really, you had to being in there for 10 or 15 minutes, your eyes could adjust to just see the floor in front of you and maybe the walls on the sides of you. You couldn't see 10, 15 feet ahead of you. It was just black. But in that area where we were in the tunnels, we saw something standing at probably 30 or 40 feet away, shaped like a human that was blacker than everything around it. And it just literally was standing there, and it went and scooted like behind the wall, and that was it. Like we were out. We hightailed it out. I'm not sticking around to see what the hell that is. It just didn't rub us the right way. It was scary, man. Um, so let's see. Um, so mom gets sick. Okay. They One late afternoon, her daughter was doing her homework at the kitchen table when the overhead light began to furiously sway. With a sudden snap, it broke loose and fell, with the child dodging herself out of the way by mere inches. A heavy light fixture that both Jack and his father installed with secure, thick 14 millimeter bolts had ripped themselves straight out of the drilled hardwood. That don't seem normal. Convinced that whatever demonic entity was in the home wanted to do them bodily harm, the Smurls were committed to being extra vigilant. One evening, with the family out and the home to himself, Jack Smurl was sexually assaulted by a succubus in the family living room. The shame and violation he felt only turned into anger when Janet had revealed to him that she too had been sexually assaulted. Her assaulter was completely unseen, as it was in the middle of the night in bed while Jack was asleep. Later, Janet said that she was completely paralyzed by something and unable to struggle against her attacker. The Smurls had finally had enough of the torment and reached out for help. Only this time, it didn't yet come from the Catholic Church, but it came from Ed and Lorraine Warren. And they did their best using, religious provocation to bring out whatever was in the home. Um, uh, Warrens concluded that there were 4 presences in the home. There were 2 women, with the younger being past the age of a teenager who she felt had a malevolent tendency. Another was a spirit of a man who Lorraine felt had died in the home decades earlier or on the physical property itself. Finally, there was a powerful demon who reigned over the home and supernaturally forced the home's three spirits to torment the Smurls. Um, against the powerful odds, the Warrens put the family in touch with the Episcopal priest who came and performed an exorcism at the home. As the activity dwindled to a degree, word spread throughout the neighborhood and into local media. Obviously, now news vans and all that stuff starts showing up and bothering them. After a half a week, the priests left due to no activity surfacing. However, the Smurls underwent a second and third exorcism shortly thereafter. Finally, in 1987, the family had enough of the activity in the home and moved. Weeks into their new home, the solitary black mass manifested and the terror slowly began again. Reaching out with one final plea, the family was able to secure a fourth and final exorcism, this time from the Catholic Church. Details about what went on during it were kept secret, but it was believed to be the longest and most powerful of the four exorcisms the family endured. That's crazy stuff, right? We talked about exorcisms like a couple weeks ago or whatever. These things aren't. People get an idea that this is like one thing. Like you have somebody come in, do one exorcism, and that's it. And that's generally not how this works. It usually is like a lasting thing. You need to come in and do multiple exorcisms over hours and hours and hours. Um, very, very exhausting. You know, listening to Father Adam Bly and what's the other gentleman's name there? The one they made the movie about, the Pope, Amorth. What's his name? Um, listening to them talk about how powerful these things are, the superhuman strength that people who are possessed will show, um, and the hours and hours and hours that they will show it is beyond, that is beyond human capabilities to be able to do those things for hours and hours and hours. Um, it, do you ever, like, did you ever get concerned when you were going out to do your paranormal investigations that you were going to walk away with something bad?
I usually we always said a prayer before we went in to a household, and we'd always come out. When we come out, we'd always say a prayer afterwards. We'd always ask the spirits to stay there and not follow us home. Even a cemetery, every cemetery we go to, even if I'm just visiting family or whatever, I always say that, please, stay here and don't follow me home, And so far, as far as I know, nothing has followed me home, but
Yeah, so luckily, you haven't had anything bad.
no.
Um, I have real concerns about this stuff because I have if you look and you read like into what these demons, these demonic entities, these malevolent spirits, what they prey upon, um, I am a prime candidate for it, right? I have PTSD. I suffer from depression. Um, I had a problem with drugs at one point. All of these things to them are weaknesses that they can manipulate and try to make their way in and, essentially, ruin your life or take it, get you to take it.
Mhm.
So that stuff really scares me. I don't, it's, eh, it's weird. It's one of these things. No, Bernie, no, I didn't yet, actually. Hold on. I want to write this down because I'll forget, man. I just have terrible memory. I have so much stuff that I have to try to fit in there. And um, the last note that I have in my phone right now is Demonic Reality, Patrick Harper, which I ended up actually getting. Um, Dr. Richard Gallagher. Dr. Richard Okay, I got it. Now I'm going to set a reminder so that I will. Okay. All right, we're good. So did you ever come across anything in your travels that seemed like it may have been um a little bit more negative or aggressive, or was everything that you come across was just kind of, benign and not, nothing really scary?
We had one investigation that we were told to go home. I didn't really actually hear it, you know. Um, it was on my recorder when we got back to the house. If I'd probably heard it verbal, I may have left, But
Mm.
yeah, this man, and they plainly said it 3 times, "Go home." That's about
Oh,
what it sounded like on my
geez, Louise.
and but we were talking to him, whether we were getting good EVPs from him and everything. There was a little boy there in the house, but I asked him how old he was, and he said he was 83. And to verify it, I went to the cemetery where he's buried, and sure enough, his age is 83 on his tombstone.
Oh
And,
gosh.
but that's the only place I ever went that I actually felt like there was something there. Um, we went there a few times, and I actually walked in the first time we were there, and she had a big mirror that her father had gave her at the end of the hallway, and that's where they were seeing most of the activity at. They had built onto the house, which is a new remodel, and they usually get pretty active. And so they wanted us there and see if we could, I said, I'm not going to try to get rid of them. I'll ask them to leave. That's about as far as I'm going.
Mm.
But I set up a camera. We got some good EVPs, and I got a little bit of footage of an orb coming out of their bedroom and shooting down the hallway right beside me. I didn't actually see it, while I was there, but when I done the replay, it showed up on the camera. But that's the only place I've actually been that it felt like there may have been something there, that may have wanted to follow somebody home. But of course, um, we went back. She called us back about several months later and said, "You got to get back up here." She said, "I've sent him in the bedroom now." He said, "I woke up this morning and there was an old man standing over my bed looking down at me." She says, "I need y'all to get rid of him." I said, "Well, I'll ask him to leave. That's about it, So I'm not an exorcist. I'm not going to try anything like that." So I walked in. First thing I noticed, the mirror was gone at the end of the hallway. They'd been painting and cleaning up running around the house. And I said, "Where's the mirror at?" And she says, we're cleaning, we're painting, and I put it in the bedroom." And then she says, "Holy shit!" Says, then she realized that the mirror was the portal they were using to come in and out of with. And she took it and put it back in the hallway, and she didn't see him back in her bedroom again. But I think she finally got rid of the mirror. Her father had given it to her years ago, come out of some old house. So who knows how old the thing was? But back in the day, they used to, if somebody passed away in the house, they would actually cover the mirrors up in the house with a
Yep.
sheet or something like that, just keep the spirits from getting trapped in them. So
Yeah, people use mirrors still in certain paranormal investigations, trying to get things to come like out, like to see them. And you have
right,
those old tales of like Bloody Mary. If you say Bloody Mary 3 times,
right.
you'll see her in the mirror or whatever. But yeah, that's crazy. Real quick, Felicia, that's awesome. I worked in recovery for a few years too. It's such a rewarding job to do. Once I got clean and changed my life, like it was, and not only was it in recovery, I worked in recovery with um military guys, soldiers coming back from war and PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and who had addiction and alcohol problems. It was sad, but it was so rewarding at the same time. But so kudos to you. Anyway, do you think it's possible that it's all negative? These entities disguise themselves as family and friends to open you up from attack. That's a great question, Matt.
It's
Yeah,
very possible.
yeah, 100% is possible. Going even deeper into this, I've talked to Joe about this a little bit, and Joe, I think, understands it a little bit better than I do, but I kind of have a little bit of a grip on it now. Um, they can, so essentially they can try to use your weaknesses against you, to manipulate you and to get attached to you and to hurt you and all that stuff. um Whether that is, like Matt's saying, like disguise themselves as family and friends, or getting you to let your guard down. There's this theory in question that's come about. Is it possible for these things to use our technology against us, to gain access to us, right? For these non-human, intelligent entities to use your computer, your cell phone, your apps, whatever.
Yeah.
Could they disguise themselves as something
Yeah.
on there to get you to let your guard down or attach themselves to you? I mean, it's it, it
It's
seems
very possible.
it seems like it should be possible.
Well, people don't talk about the Ouija board, but
Mm-hmm.
never, have allow Ouija board in their house, but the spirit box, that's just an electronic version of a Ouija board, So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I've used mine once in the house, well, twice in the house, and but I don't. I'll use my spirit box outside the house. I won't use it. I've tried it out a couple of times in the house, but from then on, it's always been outside.
Yeah.
Talking about the shadows. When I was back in 2005, I had a near-death experience. I had a real bad stroke, and I was in the hospital for a while. And of course, I'd always been in tune with the paranormal before that, but it seemed like after that, it seemed like everything's kind of picked up after that. In fact, after I come home from the hospital, I was laying in my back in my recliner, and this shadow come down the wall. It came in through the front door, went down along the wall, and got down and it turned the corner by the hallway, and it stood and it stood there for a long time. I could watch it, and actually Dee saw it too. And but when it turned sideways, it had the same image that my father had. So you almost see the outline of my father standing there. And it stood there for a good while, and I guess checking on me. I don't know. It's the way I took it. And then he left after that. He just vanished after that. But that night I was getting in bed and something tickled my foot while I was trying to climb into the bed. So I took that as it wasn't there to harm me. So
Maybe, yeah, maybe it knows that you have foot fetish, and that was how it's getting you to let your guard down.
the bad part was it was my left side that was affected. I had lost
Oh,
all feeling in my left side. I
oh,
couldn't see
jeez.
out of my left eye. I couldn't hear out of my left ear.
Oh,
My whole
gosh.
left. I couldn't move my left arm, my left foot, and but it just looked and it tickled my left foot, and I did have some feeling in it by then, so I could feel that somebody had it tickled me, It was kind
Jeez.
of odd. It was,
People get these experiences like that where something tickles your foot and they like it doesn't freak. That would freak me out, man. I'm sorry. Like, even if it's,
well, I yelled out. It startled me, it startled me, but
yeah, that would freak me out. Oh, it's
we
all right, Josh. It's okay. I just sent you the info real quick. I'm
oh,
glad you saw that I was on because I felt bad about being short. But um, Bernie, I wish you would. Bernie, I wish you'd come on the show, man. You have so much stuff to share. Um, Bernie says credible experts I've listened to who have experience in this area draw a distinction between ghosts and intelligent evil. Anyone who claims to know things as absolute fact should be suspect. Yeah, I mean, I agree that anybody who claims to know anything in any of this stuff as fact is suspect,
right.
because there's no way for anyone to corroborate anything as fact. There's no scientific way to back it up. Like, until you can do that, you can't claim
Yeah,
anything as
exactly. Yeah.
fact. When people start doing that, to me, it's a sign that it's no longer about the study of this stuff. It's about them, right?
Right.
When they start saying, "I know, I have the answers, I know this for sure," it's no longer about wanting to learn the truth. It's about you. It's an ego thing. So yeah, I'd stay away from those people. Um, yeah, that's a good point too. Many things maybe beyond our understanding. We speculate on theories and rationalize experiences. Yeah, human nature's, when something strange happens to you, is to rationalize what just happened. The brain doesn't process things it doesn't know very well, right? So
Right.
what we do is we try to find something that makes sense in it somehow. Um, Hope says she had a hand on her back once when she went to sleep. Was it your own? Just kidding.
You ought to have
Um,
one. You ought to have one walk through you one day. It
have
is a
you had
weird.
that?
Yes, I had it. Dee's had it a couple, 3 times. It's a creepy feeling. I mean, it just ooh, just
God,
give you cold chills, as it happens. That's the only
that's
way I can explain it to something. Something just walked through me.
that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know that I'd want to have any of that happen to me. Um, Camberfoot says, I just can't get behind the orb thing unless I see it in real time in my eyes. If it's on camera, I just assume that it's dust or a bug or camera glitch. Too many things that it could be. I understand that for sure. I definitely understand that. Um, you watch these shows like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters or whatever, and 9 times out of 10, what they're picking up is dust or a bug.
Oh yeah,
I can tell you with 90% certainty. I mean, I don't know but I can tell you with pretty high certainty that I've seen an orb. Um, I don't know if it was related to something paranormal or if it was related to Sasquatch. I was in a place where I had Sasquatch activity, but this place also is notorious for paranormal stuff, and it was during the day. And this thing was the size of a soccer ball, maybe, um, off in the distance, and it was moving through the trees. It was very strange, very, very strange. And the light was contained inside of it. So there
oh
was
yeah,
no ambient light coming out of it. It wasn't shining on the tree. And it was during the day, but in the forest, if you know, like the canopy overhead makes the forest darker. There's shadows in there. This thing was bright and it was not lighting up anything around it. Like there was no light coming out of it to light up.
right, right.
It just made no sense from a physics standpoint. Like, how's that possible?
Yeah, we were standing in the kitchen one night, and one came out of the living room, came down the hallway, and shot up. It went right up into the light fixture in the kitchen. I just like it, just and it was gone. But it was very bright, and there was 4 or 5 of us saw that. And
Yeah.
Dewey has seen several shooting down the hallway at the house, go toward our bedroom and going that way. But you just see them; they're real bright. But like you said, they don't give off any light. They don't illuminate anything around them. They just I don't know how you'd explain it, but self-contained, I guess you'd call it. But
Right. Yeah. That's what I saw. Self-contained, man. It was just
we went
weird.
to an old house. We went by it several times. It was an old abandoned house, and they kept saying we got to stop and check this house out. So I get this weirdest feeling when I go by here. That's the way I do too. So one day we had the camera and stuff with us, so we stopped by there, and there was a gate there as you first before you go into the house, and it had a big no trespassing sign on it. So we stayed outside by the road, made a few pictures, and that's where I got my first picture of an orb there. And it wasn't, and it, like you said, it was illuminated real bright, and it showed up good. And it wasn't a bug or anything. I
Mm,
wasn't using flash or anything because it was daylight. But
right.
anyway, so the next time we were by there, the gate was open, and I couldn't see a no trespassing sign, nowhere, because the gate was open, and the sign was facing away from. I know it was still there. So I went in, walked up to the house, and I got back behind the house, and they started yelling at me to come back to the truck. And I got back up there, and flies had literally covered my truck. I mean, these little black flies were all over my truck. And I took that as a sign we might have to leave, But I wanted to go in the house, but something told me not to. This old house was predated the Civil War. It was used as a hospital in the Civil War. It was a college. It was a schoolhouse. They used it to recruit for the Civil War too. It was a recruiting station, and but it was some kids burned it down several years ago. And I would probably finally get enough nerve to went in the house. There had been 2 bodies found in it over the years. One of them was stuffed up in the attic, in between the rafters, and I think they ruled that one as suicide. So, but anyway, there was
in between the rafters.
Yeah, up in the rafters in the attic.
And they ruled it as
always,
suicide.
Yeah.
Okay.
And but they had found a couple of people in it that had died. But there was an old cemetery out behind it, and I went back to it and I made a few pictures and all. But it was just a creepy thing. There was had a wing on the back of it, 2-story wing built onto the back of it, kind of like a dormitory, like you just see, rooms or whatever, for the dormitory or whatever. And I looked up, I'm gonna make a few pictures. So I made a picture of it, and I made 2 of them back to back. I always make 2 pictures, at least 2, one for a control picture and one for, and in one picture, the door was standing wide open, and in the next picture, 1 second later, the door was closed, and that door never moved that I seen at all. But it was just one of those creepy houses. I wish I'd have went into it before they burned it down. But there was somebody asked where it was at, if it was in Robertson County. It was just north of Robertson County. It was actually over into Logan County, Kentucky, right outside of Keysburg.
Okay, so maybe it's the same house that they're thinking of.
Could very well be. It's not, but just a very little ways out of Robertson County. Maybe a mile, maybe, or something like that. But
it's possible then.
Keysburg is kind of a little creepy little place. That's where we went. This girl was checking her house out when we got these EVPs and everything, and the orb in their house.
Where's this?
Keysburg, Kentucky.
Oh, Keysburg. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kentucky's a strange place, period. Just a lot of weird stuff has gone on there over the years. It's just hold on, I gotta see. Bernie says, "You know what I did for a living?" Yes, I know what you did for a living, for sure. I responded to a crazy call once. Some of my colleagues responded to that at different times. One of them answered jobs there. Is it something you can talk about, Bernie? You need to come on the show, man. I really I would love to have you on the show. I've told you this numerous times. I think you have a lot to share. Every time you're in the chat, you've got something that's usually profound to share. But I would imagine, being in your line of work in New York City, you probably have come across some crazy stuff. I would imagine it's a big city. There's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and I'm sure some of those are weird. I have a face for chat. Oh, stop it. That's ridiculous. We can block your face if that's the issue. I mean, if you really believe that, you're jeez Louise. Matt says, I've pondered if there is a paranormal connection with Sasquatch and other cryptids. I believe that there's some connection between all of it. The paranormal, Sasquatch and cryptids, and the UFO alien thing. I'm not saying like connected as in like Bigfoot's an alien and they he gets dropped out of a UFO every time that people see him. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's something to me that seems to cross all of those subjects. Whether it's something to do with energy or I don't know. But there's certain things that they all share. Um, it's all strange stuff, man. And again, it comes to it's theory. That's the frustrating part is you can only theorize, you can only guess, you can only make educated guesses and assumptions, and it's just tough, man. I'm not saying that orbs aren't real. I'm just saying the only way to know for sure is that it's a real orb is to see with your own eyes. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I saw a video last year of somebody filming orbs, and it wasn't just one; it was multiples, and they were in a field with woods around it, and this was not what you would see on Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures. These were balls of light that would appear in the air out of nowhere. They would come into view, like they would just kind of like it would just be there, like it would kind of grow right there in the air, and then they would move around. And there were 6 or 7 of them doing this at the same time, like before all was said and done. The craziest part about it is they seemed to move with some intelligence, meaning when there were branches coming up or an obstacle, it would maneuver around it. Like that to me is really, really strange. If maybe that's people theorize that that's a way that spirits manifest themselves because it's too hard to manifest the full body, right? So they get a little orb of light, and that's why they have the ability to maneuver intelligently because it's a intelligent energy. Some people believe that there's some kind of supernatural drone, like to get sent in to, fly around an area and see what's what, and then come back and report. Like, there's a lot of theories on what they are,
Yep.
but they're out there. They're definitely real. But those things on those shows, I mean, it's TV. Like those guys are going to sensationalize everything. A piece of dust floats through the screen, and it goes by one guy's shoulder, and Zach goes, "Was that the spirit of Janine, the homeowner, just going into Aaron's body?" Like, get the guy. Come on. Let's be real, bro. Let's be real. Not saying that that's not possible, but just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I was watching an episode of I think it was the Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
Yeah.
They were in Adams at the cabin back behind the schoolhouse, and they were trying to conjure up something, I guess, or whatever, but they were investigating whatever, and they went up into the attic. This attic had been closed up for no telling how long. There's a bunch of junk stored up there. And it was full of dust. Well, they get up there with the cameras and get to stomping around, and all of a sudden these orbs are everywhere, and they're amazed by them. All these orbs, just coming out, and I hate to tell them it was dust, because we're stomping around, but
You'd think they'd use their brain a little.
You see these pictures all the time on Facebook or whatever, where they've made a picture and it's an orb and they can see a face in it and all that kind of stuff. If it's not a glowing ball of light,
Right.
it's like you said, self-illuminated or whatever. I don't consider it an orb.
Yeah.
My father-in-law told me one time that, back when he was young, their house got broken into. And this place where their house was at, he told me a lot of stories about it. In fact, I've got a section in my book, Ghostly Whispers, about that house. And he said the house got broke into. A lot of stuff got stolen, and a lot of the kitchen utensils and things like that, silverware and stuff like that, they got stolen. And they were outside in the yard for a day or two later after all this happened. And he said all of a sudden there was a little cemetery off in the bottom down by the bend by the river. All of a sudden it's like somebody was shooting off some Roman candles out of the cemetery. These balls of light, different colored light was flying, firing up. And they walked down there, and they found the stuff had been stolen, stacked up down there in the cemetery. I guess somebody's gonna come back and get it later, I guess, but they got it out of the house. I don't know if they thought they're gonna get caught or what, but they hid it in the cemetery and they found it. But then they would have checked in the cemetery if they hadn't seen these balls of fire, shooting out of the cemetery. So it's kind of odd,
Yeah, that's weird. Have you ever? I don't know Dolce Mountain. Do you know Dolce Mountain? Have you ever heard of Dolce Mountain?
Mm-mm.
I've never heard of it. To be completely honest with you, Ron, he asked what our opinion of it was. Did we think that there was an underground alien base there? I'm gonna have to look it up, buddy.
Yeah, I've heard something about that, but I hadn't done any research on it. But
yeah, I'll have to look it up, man. I'll definitely take a look at it and then give you my opinion after I do some reading on it. But I'm not familiar with that. Do I think it's possible that there could be an alien base somewhere, on Earth? Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I would imagine it would be located someplace remote, someplace where you're not gonna have a lot of traffic or see these things coming and going all the time. But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a little bit. For me, it's a tad far-fetched. Um, I if these aliens, extraterrestrials, UAPs can travel from one, planet, galaxy to another with ease, then I don't see why they would even risk being caught, hanging out inside of a mountain or whatever on Earth. And then that's not to say that anything we have could do anything to them. Who the hell knows? Matt wants to know what's the most active, clear, and convincing evidence you all have witnessed. Dewey, I'll let you go first, buddy.
oh, let's see. Just the most simple things, drawers, in a cabinet opening and closing and things like that. Doors slamming shut on their own, and got a few photographs that I don't know that are kind of odd. I've got one that was made outside my house out here. It's got this big smoky image above the top of it, and I don't know exactly what it is. Somebody said it was a energy pattern, spirit energy pattern. We made a bunch of pictures around, and I wish I could find them. I lost my computer several years ago, and a whole bunch of photos I had on it of that house up in Keysburg. We got you can see a lot of people standing outside. Some of them had on like a Civil War uniform. Things like that. But I lost all those pictures when a hard drive crashed. I tried to recover it. I didn't have any backups like a fool. I have now, though. I've got several hard drives backed up now.
Yeah.
But we were down in a Shiloh battlefield down in Mississippi. And it's a very, I don't know, it's overwhelming. You can just feel it. You can just feel them in the woods looking out at you. They're still, I think they still find a piece of bone every once in a while. They found a full skeleton several years ago, not long ago, and where a soldier I guess he'd got wounded and he crawled back into the underbrush and hit himself, and they just found his skeleton just like I said, it's several years ago. Not, I want to say in the last 20 years they found a skeleton. But we were down there one day and making a few pictures and having to look up, and there was a marker up the road a little bit, and I just happened to glance over at it, and there was a man standing there in a gray Civil War uniform. And I thought they're going to be doing some reenacting today. Maybe we hang around and watch the reenactment, you know. And Dee saw it too, and I made a picture. It didn't turn out too awful plain. It was real blurry because it was a little ways off. But I looked back and it was gone, you know, and nobody had walked away or anything. So we went down to the, of course, they've got these burial trenches. They just dug these trenches out and just threw the Confederate soldiers off in these trenches, you know, by the hundreds, and just covered them up, you know. And we went there one day, and I just set my recorder down, and I got three pretty good EVPs off of it, you know. I just asked them, you know, if they had anything they wanted to say, you know, and I forgot what they said exactly, but there was some good EVPs out of it. And that's basically what I've got is EVPs, you know, a few photographs, you know. And Dee had one for the cabinets in her sewing shop opened and closed by itself the other day, you know. So that was kind of odd, but so they're just being playful with us. They don't, you know, I don't think they mean any harm.
Just the other day that happened, huh?
Yeah, just a couple of days ago. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And I think one day one of them opened up and just everything in it dumped out, you know. So so she picked everything back up and put back in. Yeah, she put a comment on her. She asked, "What in the world are you doing?"
My gosh, that's crazy. Hope, feel better. Hope's taking off. She's got a headache. She's been fighting a headache, so she's bowing out. Feel better. Thank you for coming on. For me, I guess I would have to say, if we're talking paranormal, God, I would have to be the time that we went to Barrett Hack. That place was just weird, man. So Barrett Hack was this old settlement, this old settlement that was like, you know, I forget who settled it, like white colonists or something, you know, years and years ago. And there were a lot of bad things that happened to people there. Rumors about it, people being cursed and all this stuff, and it just collapsed and it didn't last, and people disappeared, and it was just it's a really kind of crazy story. But what's left there is all these foundations from when this settlement was there, and we're talking, you know, I guess I don't even remember what the dates were from when they built there, but a long time ago. So there's these foundations that are left there, and they're basically out in the middle of the woods, in a town called Pomfret. And it was bought and became private land. I forget how many years back, but and there's no real way to know it's there unless you go on one of these forums and people will tell you how to get to it. So that's what I did, because I had heard about it, said I want to go there. Excuse me. So we went, and when you get into this portion of the woods, it's like it's almost like there's a door that opens, and you walk through the door, and I mean, like like it's so weird. A couple feet this way before you get to it, and you're hearing birds, you're hearing peep frogs, you're hearing and then as soon as you get into this area, you no longer hear any of them. It's silent. And I mean, like, I got goosebumps. It's like deadly silent. So that was the first thing we noticed. The longer we stayed there, each of us was hearing whispering voices, and like multiple of them around us. We couldn't make out clearly what they were saying at all times. Certain times you'd catch a couple words, but there were voices, human voices, or what seemed to be human voices, all whispering to us at the same time. Uh, it was it was scary. It was creepy as hell, and it started to make you feel like you were nuts. Like you started to feel like you were going crazy. Um, that was probably the uh, the most convincing evidence for me. Just because we tried everything, like we tried to debunk it. Or there was no way. We all heard it. Every one of us, wasn't just one of us. Each of us heard it. So it was just weird. Funny enough, and I didn't know this at the time, but Barahak is also called uh, the um, the Whispering Village, I believe. Uh, the Village of the Voices. That's what it's called. The Village of the Voices. And so there you go. I mean, I can understand why it got its name, but that was it. We're talking Sasquatch stuff. Oh, man, there's been plenty that made me know that there's something going on there. But rocks throwing at you, uh, being bluff charged by something that's very big and you can't see it, seeing one, um, hearing footsteps, bipedal footsteps around you from 3 different areas, closing in on you, ushering you out, uh, all that stuff, man, all that stuff, just strange. A handprint on my car, like, the hell? Big greasy handprint on my window. Then I wasn't I wasn't 50 yards from the car when that thing had to have been put there. I don't know how it got put there with nobody, like, I mean, there was only a couple of us out there, but without either of us seeing it, just made no sense. But it did. It's just weird, man. All this stuff is just
It is
weird.
weird. The only thing I would consider to be a cryptid that I had noted, I'd seen, was, of course, Tennessee Wildlife Resources say there's no such thing as a black panther in Tennessee. I don't know if it'd be called a cryptid or not, but my neighbor has seen one between my house and his several times. My neighbor across the street actually got a picture sitting on his tractor of this thing, and he's a good little ways from it, but you can tell what it is. And we came in from town one night, and something, I didn't see it. I was looking the other direction, and they asked me if I'd seen something crossing in front of the car. We was already in the driveway. And I said, no, I was looking at something else. I always look for deer when we come in. We've always got deer back behind the building. I was usually looking for deer, by the building. And she said, well, something big and black just crossed in front of the car. So I get the flashlight. We parked the car in the garage. I get the flashlight and go around the house looking. I can't find anything. And so I forgot all about it for a day or two, and I have to think, I've got security cameras outside the house. Maybe they pick something up.
Mm.
So the first camera by the garage, it was just a real streak, it's so fast, and got it. And so I went to the next camera, the same thing, just continuation of the first one, just a streak. The front porch cameras picked up a little bit more. It come up on the porch, and like I said, it was fast. It would come up one side of the porch and off the front steps, and it was gone. And the side, it was so dark in the side, beside the house, it didn't pick anything up. But I kept watching the front one. In a few minutes, it came back and walked up on the sidewalk at the house, and you can tell it's a big black cat. I mean, it's big. It's bigger than a German Shepherd dog. I mean, it's just like,
Oh, what?
yeah, it's big. And so I kind of put some food up there once in a while for it, and hoping put it in range of the camera, where if it does come up, I can get a picture of it. But it hasn't been seen in probably a little over a year, probably. But my neighbors sent me a text the other day that the big black cat was in their front yard. And I was hoping they'd maybe got a picture of it, but they didn't. But
Bigger than a German Shepherd.
as far as the cryptid, that's the only thing I've seen. And what aggravates me about these these spirits, whatever you call them, it's in my house here. They have an intelligence. They can imitate my voice. They can imitate Dee's voice. I can be out in the building working, and I hear Dee call me, and I'll come out and say, "Wait, what?" And she'll say, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You called my name." And she said, "No, I didn't." But it's plain as day. And that's happened to me several times. And then she come up to me the other day and want to know what I wanted. I said, "I didn't want anything." "Well, you called my name." I said, "No, I didn't."
That's
The first time
creepy.
I heard this in the house, I was sitting here about where I'm at right now in the computer room, and heard this little girl's voice say, "Mama," you know, and thought, who's here? It got to be one of these, one or two of the. I've got three daughters that want to be calling for mama, and one lives in Clarksville and one's in Dixon, and the other one was, I think she lived in Springfield, and nobody was there. So I ignored it. So I sat here a few minutes and I hear, "Mama," in that tone of voice, and this nobody answers. I said, "What do you want?" And nobody answered. So I went there where Dee was at in the other room and asked her, if she had said anything. She said, "No, I hadn't said a word." I said, "You didn't call mama?" She said, why would I say mama?" So I don't know, but somebody did. And that night, I done fell asleep on the couch watching TV. And she woke me up and said, "Did you hear that little girl?" And I said, "No, I didn't. I was asleep." She says, "Well, it said, can't you see us? We're alive," so. And it says right there by her feet, this little girl was talking to her,
Oh
So we've
my.
heard several voices here in the house and things like that, and the one that unnerved me the most was she collects these old dolls,
Oh,
these
don't
old
even.
Tiny Tears dolls, and they've got them in a display case. I woke up one night. It was loud enough it woke me up, and it sounded like there was a girl party going on in the living room.
Nope.
All these kids talking and carrying on and stuff,
Nope.
Now, was the TV's on? Well, the TV, there wasn't any glare from the TV, but the sound bar is separately, so it may have picked up something, So I walk in, and I mean, it's dead quiet, And I look over at him. I says, "Y'all shut up and go to sleep," you know, and went back to bed, But yeah, I get a creepy feeling off those dolls,
Yeah.
They're,
No
they're
thanks.
old. They're old back in the 50s, these early Tiny Tears dolls, So who knows what? Who knows?
Yeah, I'm all set. You can keep the dolls away from me. No thanks. Dolls freak me out. I'm
There's a
good.
house in Adams right there, right by we turn to go to the Bell Witch Cave. It's got all these. I mean, most of them are tall, 2 or 3 feet tall, propped up in the front yard, and they've got like, patches on their eyes and arms, marked up like they're injured and stuff, And I made a few pictures the other day, but I need to go back by there and walk through it and get a few more. But it is creepy. Dolls kind of creep me out.
Yeah, they freak me out. Henry says he's seen a buff-colored one in his woods. My mother saw a black, solid black with 2 black babies with her. One young one got run over on the main road. Fish and Game came to recover it. You're talking about Sasquatch? One of the young ones got killed and Fish and Game came to take it? Where was this? I'm very curious to know where this was.
Was
I
it
mean,
Sasquatch or a cat or what was it?
yeah, I think he's saying Sasquatch.
Oh,
I believe he's has some activity where he's at. Yeah, I mean, and that right there, what he's saying, it speaks to everything trying to cover this stuff. Oh, mountain lion.
oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I was gonna be very, very excited. Well, not excited to hear that a Sasquatch baby had been run over, but I was excited to hear that there was, a possibility that they did come grab one.
My
Um,
sister-in-law saw one night leaving my mother and father's house, and she come in and asked us, and told us about it. She was going to work at night. She was working the midnight shift at Walmart, and she came back and stopped and come back in and told us she'd seen this big black cat, and it crossed the road in front of her. And so we went there the next day and looked, and we found some tracks, pretty good sized tracks, but there was some little small tracks on top of the big ones, like it had a baby following behind it.
Oh.
And so we kind of got armed up and walked back into the woods, to follow these tracks, trying to find it. And we tracked it probably maybe a quarter mile,
Mm-hmm.
and it got down to the creek, and we lost it at the creek. So I don't know if it got off in the creek or just got into brush along the creek or what, but we lost track of it. But it had been seen there several times.
Well, these I think just any animal, Sasquatch, are going to use these creeks and riverbeds and stuff as like highways.
Oh yeah,
Makes sense, especially if they're trying to keep their tracks covered. What better way to do that than in the water? You're going to get washed away. People aren't going to see them because most of us aren't going to go trudging through the water.
yeah. This Cars Creek critter that we're seeing around Springfield back in 1966. They thought that's what it was to start with, but different people saw different things, and they all described it differently. So some I guess the most common description was it looked like a hyena.
Oh, that's
So I don't
fun.
know if it was and somebody had a picture of a chupacabra on Facebook the other day. So yeah, it looks like a picture I got in my book of this Cars Creek critter that this artist drew. But it's like a hyena with stripes on its back. So I don't know if it just, you quit hearing about it. I don't know. I don't know if it's something happened. He went somewhere else.
Isn't
It was,
that the thylacine? Isn't that the Tasmanian tiger?
I think so. Yeah, that's the picture she drew. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's another one. That's a very interesting critter there. That it was supposed to have been, I think the last one or two in captivity died in like the 50s or something, the 40s or 50s.
Something like that.
They
Yeah.
say, um,
But one of them supposedly resurfaced somewhere in 1966, which is the same year that this Cars Creek critter is supposed to, been
okay,
active. I talked to a guy. I went and interviewed him, and he almost convinced me. I'm not sure if he's telling all the truth or not. That him and a friend of his hoaxed the whole thing, and he described everything they had done, all this kind of stuff, to get this hoax going. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he did or not. Or I've heard several people talk about it. Um, I don't know. It's kind of odd. It just disappeared. Sometime in late '66, it just vanished off the face of the earth. Nobody's seen it since. So I don't know if somebody shot it, if it went somewhere else.
well,
If it
yeah,
was a hoax. I don't know.
could have been any of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Henry says I live close to the Connecticut River. Same with my folks. Seems like big cats bear run the river on their big loops. We know there's big cats here. I've seen proof of it on my outings. I've seen twice now. I've seen paw prints that were feline, and they were much bigger than bobcat paw
Hmm.
prints. So I knew right away. I'm like, yeah, all right, so that's a cougar. There's no way that's a bobcat. Bobcat's probably half the size of a cougar print. These things were big, and that's something that I don't want to ever come in contact with. Those things are scary.
Yeah, I was out back working on my little dune buggy back several years ago, and we had a dog. It was an old red bone hound, and it wasn't afraid of anything. I mean, it'd tackle anything. So anyway, we were out back. Pete, he was out there with me. That was the dog, and I was working on doing. I was working on it at night. I didn't have a garage to work on or anything, but I had up under the night light there, back behind the house, and all of a sudden something screamed out of those woods. It didn't sound like it was very far away. I mean, it sounded like a woman screaming. It was loud. Old Pete took that tail and went up under the porch, and I thought, well, if Pete's afraid of it, I think I think I need to be too. So I quit what I was doing, went in the house. But And Pete was under there for a long time before he ever come back out. So I don't know what it was. It probably was a bobcat, but
Well, it could have been. Foxes have a scream too that sounds like a woman dying, being murdered. So do fisher cats. They have a scream that's pretty blood curdling. But I mean, there's been recordings of supposed Sasquatch, that sound like a woman screaming too. So who the hell knows? Or maybe it was just a woman screaming.
could have been.
It could have been, which is probably scarier than a Sasquatch, honestly.
Oh yeah,
A woman mad enough to be screaming like that. I'm gonna hide under the porch too. I'm with Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
The tiger. I want to go back to the tiger real quick before we end the show. This Tasmanian tiger is very interesting. Bernie, I agree with you 100%. Black and white video of the Tasmanian tiger in captivity. If it existed so recently as to be filmed, it's likely there's still a few left around. I agree 100%. I don't know how these people think that they can say with certainty, oh, this is the last one on Earth. Like, I don't know how you could say that, especially back in like the 1940s or 50s. There's been pretty convincing evidence to point to the fact that there are some of these things still in Australia. I want to say there's an island right that's part of Australia. Maybe I may be wrong about this. And there's pictures of what is potentially one of these things there, and that picture was one of the ones that got my attention. To me, it's very credible. And the guy who saw it and took the picture said, like, I saw this thing, it was only this far away. He's like, I have no doubt what it was. It had this very long snout, and it opened, and I guess the guy saw it open its mouth, and one of the things he said is when it opened its mouth, almost 180 degrees, like almost fully open. Like, and a Tasmanian tiger can open its mouth very, very wide. So that to me is a very, very high possibility that there's still one or some of these things, in Australia.
This is a picture that the artist drew based on people's. If we can see it.
Oh, okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's what they said was the Cars Creek critter.
That looks to be a bit more buff than a Tasmanian tiger. That thing looks to be pretty muscular. Tasmanian tigers aren't all that buff. I mean, obviously they're cats or dogs or whatever the hell it is. They're in shape, but they're not beefy like that. Lady Wolf, give me a copy of that sound clip. I'd love to listen to it. But anyway, let's wrap this thing up. We're going on 2 hours, and this stupid StreamYard thing always wants to take my videos, not let me post them if I go too long. Season of the Critters. If you have not read the book, please read it. I've read it, and I've skimmed over it over and over multiple times. It's such a good book. It's such an easy read.
I need to send you my Eye in the Sky. I need to send you one of those too. So
I got that one.
Oh, you got that one?
Yeah, you sent me that one. Yeah, that was the most recent one you sent. Yep.
Never mind. What about the Bell Witch book? You got it?
I don't have that one.
Okay.
I don't have that one.
Keep you on the mailbox.
All right. I will. I need to get one of those hats. Where do I get that hat?
This hat?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah, I need to get a hat like that.
Amazon.
I need to get a hat like that.
My wife bought this for me. I'm trying to find the tag off of it.
These guys were breaking my stones the other day saying that you can't be a real cryptid hunter unless you have like some kind of cowboy hat and I was like, well, I'd rather have like more like an Indiana Jones hat, which I think that's more close to an Indiana Jones hat.
I'll get her to send you the link to it. Oh, this is you can form mission income. It's got the.
Yeah, I like that. Well, yeah, don't do that. I like that though. Also,
it's easy to form.
I want to talk to the missus, not about like a whole merch line, but since she does this awesome stuff with her stitching and whatnot, I want a hat. I need a hat for my channel because I love hats. I wear hats all the time. I need a hat made for myself. So I want to talk to the missus if she's not too busy, if we can maybe get
Yeah.
something
Oh
done
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I still have so much stuff to do for this trip that like uh, I'm I'm I am freaking out because I'm worried that like I'm not gonna bring enough stuff with me. I'm gonna forget stuff. I've got stuff that I need, tons of stuff I need to charge. I got to charge my a DJI Osmo Pocket camera. I've got to charge the batteries for my Canon. I've got to bring the battery backup charger packs for all of those two things, plus my phone, plus my laptop, um, camping lights, tent, clothes, snacks. I don't even know what else. Like I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what the hell to bring and what not to bring. So I got to do all that stuff still, and I'm freaking out about it.
Well, don't forget to clean underwear.
Don't forget to clean underwear. That's right. Well, yeah, you're
That's
right.
that's an ongoing joke for me.
That's a very important thing. You know, if you
I wrecked my car one day. Rode
and
it
did
down
you
a
wreck
bluff.
your underwear too?
Well, no, I almost did. But anyway, I called my mother from the hospital and said, "Mom, I wrecked my car. I'm in the hospital." She said, "You got on clean underwear?"
Yeah, the typical mom question. I mean, why do you have unclean underwear? You don't want to get caught with dirty underwear
Didn't
if
ask,
you.
"Are you hurt or what? If you got on clean underwear?"
Oh God, if you die, if you know you if you die and you're in dirty underwear, that's
Nobody's
terrible
going
way
to know
to.
but the Undertaker anyway. You know it. If you
But
do, I mean,
still, he's gonna know. God
is he going to tell
forbid.
anybody?
Oh man, God forbid you've been in a pair of drawers for 3 days out in the woods sweating. That'd be terrible for everyone involved. It's gonna get chilly. It's chilly up there, man. It's very chilly up there. I guess at night it's been in like down in the low 30s. Um, so yeah, it's cold. Maybe even upper 20s in certain areas around there. Um, be careful. Yeah, I'll be very careful. You know, we will be heavily armed.
Oh yeah.
Not for the supposed Sasquatch, but because there are this where we're going. There's a chance that there's a lot of moose. A lot. Like it's a heavily moosed area. If that's a word.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, those things are dangerous. The bears are moving out of the area, so we shouldn't have to worry about them much. But moose are a scary thing, man. You ain't outrunning one. You certainly ain't outpowering one. If you get in one's way, or even if you get near one and it just decides, like, I'm big, I'm dumb, and I'm aggressive, so I'm going to kill you. There ain't much you can do about it unless you got, you know, a tactical shotgun to fire off 8 quick bursts of superior firepower. Um, into that thing, which I don't want to hurt any animals, but if it's you or me, pal, well, it's going to be you. Hopefully. Hopefully. Anyway, an electric blanket, that wouldn't do me much good because I don't have the right thing to plug it into. We have power inverters there, but we're going to be using them for um um like the lights around camp that we're setting up as like a perimeter light thing, and then to charge a lot of the other equipment that we're going to have, thermals, night visions. There's between Alex, Mike, and Mike Lucci, there are enough thermal cameras and night vision cameras for everybody to have their own. So this place will be covered for like 7 of us with thermals and night visions. We're gonna really have um, a great coverage of this place. It's gonna be friggin' awesome. Yes, it's rutting season. Yeah, that's the other part. It's not fun.
Oh no.
Yeah, bad, bad, bad. Yep. So, well, we'll be okay. Alex got this big 357 Magnum. Uh, you know, yeah, I'll just carry that with me or something. Maybe I'll just keep the shotgun on me. I don't care.
I just purchased a 10 mm yesterday, so
Yeah, good. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, that's good stuff. I was just saying the other day, like that's a pretty handy weapon when you're out there. Uh, I need to get something a little bit bigger than what I got right now. So I'm thinking about maybe doing. I don't know. We'll see. I do one of those big giant 50 caliber revolvers sounds like
oh yeah, yeah.
the
500, yeah.
500. Yeah. What is it called? The 500 friggin' yeah. That thing will blow your arm out.
Yeah.
I watched a video of a guy fire that thing right, and he pulls the trigger and it goes wham
Yeah.
and smacks him in the head, knocks him out cold, and busts his head wide open.
Mhm.
Um, this is what happens when you give an idiot a gun. Oh boy! All right, so let's get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got to take this dog out. He's bugging me right now. He's probably got to pee.
I'll
Um,
take care of that fur baby.
yeah, yeah, I'm at my brother's house watching Huck right now. He's such a sweet boy, but he's very needy when I'm here. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry it turned into a food show for the first half, but at least now you know about pizza and Hellbender cookies.
I
Now
figured Guy
you've
Fiero may come into the chat, but we kept talking.
Guy Fieri ain't got nothing on me. Uh, he, he ain't got nothing on old Sugar Mouth. Um, the Hellbender cookies. Now there needs to be an encrypted connection cookie.
We can do that.
I mean, does the Hellbender
What made them
cookie does it-
Hellbender cookies? I took some orange cookie icing and put HH on top of the cookies, So, and then I realized I got half of them done. I thought, well, it's orange flavor too. I thought it was just orange color, but it's orange flavor too. But they said the orange had a good taste to it with the chocolate and the peanut
Ooh,
butter.
I like orange with chocolate. If you ever had those, Hostess orange cupcakes?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, those are
Well, I love
good,
them. Yeah.
man. Those are
I love
good.
them better than raspberry zingers.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, those are good. Those were like one of my favorite things as a kid, those orange cupcakes. Man, now I want an orange cupcake. Yes, you can surely come up with a cookie for encrypted. Thank you, Stitchwitch. I appreciate you. I need a hat too. We need to come up with a hat. I need a hat just for myself, not merch. I need just for me personally. I need my own hat. So,
Just let her know what you want on it, and
yeah, that's the thing is I want to change. I've been wanting to change the logo for the channel for a very long time. I haven't been happy with it since the very start. So I'm trying to design something that fits better, but I'm not the greatest artist. So anybody out there, if you're a good artist, I want to design something with the white rabbit. That's not just
oh yeah,
not just a plain white rabbit. Something kind of edgy, kind of cool, kind of dark. I can't pay you, but I can thank you.
we had a white rabbit when I was growing up. My grandfather had give us outside door cage and everything. And when he did all the clover over under the cage, you just slide it over. The bottom was open, And but anyway, we moved it one day. The dogs were digging from the outside trying to get in, and the rabbit was digging. Thought the dogs were helping it, and they were digging. He was digging out at the same spot, So when the rabbit got out, the yard was covered with white fur.
Oh,
Dogs helped it escape.
poor
Yeah, poor
thing.
thing. Yeah, but
Oh, well, I guess little white rabbit shouldn't mess with dogs. Stupid thing.
right.
Thought the dogs were helping it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not very bright. Anyway, all right, let's get out of here. Thank you guys again. Tomorrow, 3 p.m.
3 p.m. I made a
Please,
note.
yeah, please, if you can, tune in. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. This kid is so exceptional. He's such a sweet kid. Anytime that I can support a young man or woman who is trying to do this, I will absolutely do everything I can. And what he has to share is it's incredible. It really is. It's incredible. You ain't gonna find it in this community anywhere else right now. I promise you. So tune in. It's worth it. Uh, until then, have a wonderful night. Thank you again, Dewey. I love you, man. I'm so happy that you decided to do this with me. It makes my job much easier.
Glad to be here.
All right,
Glad to
brother.
help.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace be with you.